Hi everyone, how you doing? It's Mark, blocking the camera. Okay, so we're live. It's Mark here again for This Is How We Do It Volume 5. And basically today we're going to be talking about a label called Wild Pitch, and particularly a producer called the 45 King, who is one of my favourite all-time producers, and definitely a guy who I'd say is responsible for some of the biggest moves forward in hip-hop and sampling. Some of you might remember the track, the 900 number, so that's where we're going to start. Basically, the end point of this is going to be my favourite hip-hop track, which is called Wild Pitch, on the label Wild Pitch. So before 45 King was working with, or at the same time, he did a track on Tough City called the 900 number, and just as a little bit of interest, I'll play you the track he took that from, which was by Marva Whitney, who was James Brown's girlfriend for a while. Good drums. Okay, so Mark the 45 King took that and did this with it. Okay, I'm playing them in short blasts, so no, the copyright people don't come after me. So that track there was came out in '89 and was a dance floor sensation. We had a nightclub going called Fever at the Man Alive in Manchester at the time, and the 900 number actually had a dance to go with it and everything, which was quite a peculiar jump in the air and move along to the first kick in the bar. But basically, that's obviously a very well known one. But I was really into the 45 King. I used to buy his albums that he did, and he did some quite incredible tracks that you can't find on Spotify. You can't find them on iTunes. So really, quite beautifully, they sort of only live in people's record collections, which I think is quite a wonderful thing. And one of my favourite tracks he did is called Take Your Time, and it sort of starts out with a saxophone, but then goes on some weird synthy electronic 80s sample, which if anybody out there can name what this sample's from, I'll be very, very happy. Here we go. Take Your Time. Okay, pretty obvious sort of JB's horn, but check this out. I mean, that's just like, that's got a sickness, that has, right there. Amazing tune. Okay, so another track we used to play a lot of Fever was called Kick the Ballistics. Big tune. Right, massive tunes. Okay, so Wild Pitch, record label, started in '87. This is around 18, well I think maybe it might have been 88 that this, or 89 this track came out. And I did a track about 3 or 4 years ago that was a re-edit of this using 45 King's production, because I couldn't find the original sample. And also, I just loved the way it sounds. So that's called Wild Pitch, and it features a guy called Chill Rob G, and we're going to get into that in a minute, because this is one of the craziest stories in sampling history. It involves a track that you probably know quite well, it became a worldwide hit, called The Power by Snap, okay? So we're going to go on that journey in a minute. Okay, so Wild Pitch goes like this. Whoa.
Yo, look, you're in my way. I'm telling you to back up. You think this is a game, so I'll commence to rack up points like a bro that I know that I am. Break on the mic, then go for the slam.
Okay, Chill Rob G's got one of the best voices in hip-hop ever. That beat is amazing, and it's also got like the main ingredients of what I would call a classic hip-hop track. Like I said, it's my favourite. It's got a really triumphant horn sample, and he's scratching in Give Me What You Got by Les Pamplemousse over the top. It's just real, raw and heavy, and as I'm sure it's probably an SP1200 that he's done that on. So anyway, I did that as an edit that you might remember with the EFFECT, gave that away to you all a few years ago. So I then I went down the journey of finding out where the original sample had come from on that, and turns out it's on this, which I showed you at the end of the year. It's called Fast Break, Billy Preston and Cyrita, and it had a hit on there, which I forget the name of. I'm not going to search for on my mind, and I find this track is called Books and Basketballs. If you can keep in mind that triumphant horn on that Wild Pitch track, I'll play you this. Oh, I found it immediately. That's quite rare. Okay, here we go. Up we go. Okay, we don't want Motown coming after me Facebook stream, so I won't play any more of that. So yeah, I was over the moon when I found that. And so yeah, I thought, well, you know what, I'll just forget Mark the 45 Kings production, and I'll just make a track out of that. And I did, and it just wasn't very good. You know, things don't work out sometimes when you're making tunes, and I couldn't make it sound like this. I mean, just check out how like heavy this feel of this track is. Kind of like it's behind itself, it's like shrugging its shoulders, it's like a really hard hip-hop track. So anyway, I'm going to play you what I got up to, but before I did that, I forgot to tell you about Snap, didn't I? Which I know might not be that interesting to some of you, but honestly, this was just like one of the craziest sample chases in history, and people fronting up to each other and getting it all wrong decision-wise.
The critic is getting kind of hectic.
Whoa, found it straight away again. Okay, so Chill Rob G, great voice. Did an album with 45 King, had a lot of the you know, the first tracks on this Wild Pitch label. That's a Latee track, but look, it's a wonderful label design-wise as well. In fact, we ripped it off for our 1990 Precinct 13 Street Soul nights, which were a bit fruity. So anyway, here it goes. You remember it from Snap. It's getting kind of hectic. Here's our droppy
Be
before.
subtle. Patiently, I listen to all types of rebuttal. Don't say this, don't say that. Change your lyrics. Everybody's a critic. It's getting kind of hectic.
It's getting kind of hectic. There it is. Okay. So, if I can get this story out of my mind in the right order. So that came out with 45 King. You know, these great early hip hop 12 inches are brilliant. They've got the main, the instrumental, and the acapella, and that's how I do my stuff now on Bandcamp as well. Because it means that if you want to scratch the acapella over the instrumental, or do what I'm doing now with all these acapellas, then it's amazing. So basically, I think Chill Rob G said to 45 King, if you keep putting out my acapellas, someone's going to make another record with it. And that's what two German guys did called Snap, and they sampled It's Getting Kinda Hectic and loads of other things, and made a massive hit with it. So Wild Pitch, instead of like clearing the sample, just became a fight between everybody. And Wild Pitch released a version called Power Jam. And eventually the Snap guys got a guy called Turbo B, who you probably remember. He didn't look the part like Chill Rob G did. And basically they used him instead. So I think they all lost out, the guys on Wild Pitch, sadly. Anyway, away from the pop hits and back to what I've been doing. So you heard my take on this basketball and books thing, yeah? So this, I couldn't make it. I couldn't replace the vibe of Chill Rob G. Most important, I couldn't get 45 King's beat sounding the same. So I'm going to take out all the acapellas first, as I do normally, and we'll show you how I dealt with this track. Sorry, it's a little bit of a mess from an old session here. So I'm muting all the vocals, and we're going to just go on the production now. Okay, yeah, is that right? So, I took like a reggae, I used like a reggae horn echo on there, on the higher bit. Bass line. That's just the horns. Bass line. Sample from the original drums coming in now. Now those hats are really important to how this track goes, because they've got, like, they're off the same track and they're live and they're going along. I'll bring in the drums that I added. Kick, another kick, traps, clap, another snare, cabassa. Now we're rolling, okay? Triangle. Okay, that's what, come back round again. Okay, so you've heard a bit of the construction of the beat, same sort of principles again, filtered bass line. So, wasn't happening, didn't have a Chill Rob G type guy on there, and I've decided to add other people in. Now, when I was living in Los Angeles, I had this guy who was a DJ, friend of mine, and he told me the story. I don't know, well, I think it's true because that's the only way you get it from, but he had all the Motown acapellas ever, which is kind of freaky, really, if you think about it. So in this setup down here, I've got Marvin Gaye singing What's Going On. I've got Smokey Robinson singing Tracks of My Tears like a cappella. It's quite emotional listening to them, actually, particularly the Smokey Robinson stuff, which is just unbelievable, right? Anyway, so Eddie Kendricks, right? You know, Eddie Kendricks is the lead singer of The Temptations, and he had a split with them and went solo, did one of the best conscious lyrics tracks ever made. People Hold On, early 70s, around the same time as What's Going On, but in my opinion, probably the best track of that type. Sort of a bit ignored nowadays, but check out People Hold On by Eddie Kendricks. I've put it on the Spotify list for you people watching. Okay, so this is how we go. I'm going to do it now. We'll listen to the track with everything in it. But with Eddie Kendricks leading us off, okay? Now check out this. This is original Motown plate reverb, which are big boxes with bits of metal in them that they sent the voices through to create this sound. And what a singer this dude is. Check him out.
I keep on trucking, baby. I got to keep on trucking.
And he's in tune with this.
Got to get to your good loving.
Chorus, 1, 2, 3.
Yes, y'all. A freak, y'all. A freaky beat, y'all. It's so unique, y'all. You and you. I said to you and you.
Pick it out. METHOT, man. And keeps on making it. Brooklyn keeps on taking it. Party people, I came to the door. I said it before.
You rock to roll and then you roll to rock and then you rock.
Okay, so I got KRS-One in there, Phoenix Orion in there, and Talib Kweli in there. And they're all interlocking with each other, okay? Now, that's a skill that comes from around this time, like late 80s, early 90s, and something that I used to love. People like Too Tough out of Tough Crew, the EPMD's first DJ, Kayla Boss, or whatever his name was. People used to make scratch tracks for every hip-hop album that came out. They used to put, like, the DJ would have his own chance to make a track. So what he'd do is he'd get all these acapellas on these, like, late 80s, early 90s tracks I was showing you before, and you try and stitch a conversational sentence out of all the different rappers. So this is what I'm trying to recreate here. And basically it means that you get a load of energy because the rappers are all changing, but they're changing every other sentence. So you got, you know, KRS-One coming with a hip-hop versus rap acapella, which if you can get a hold of that, that's just, he's copying all of the favourite sort of sayings in rap, which is perfect for making these type of tunes. And if you want to see a sort of like a really good mellow version of that type of DJ track, on the first Gangstar album, DJ Premier did a track called DJ Premier in Deep Concentration. Amazing bit of DJ dexterity. Okay, so that's it really. You've had the story of Snap and Chill Rob G, 45 King, and the ability to, like, what you should do if you're collecting acapellas is to chop them all up and make them have sentences with each other like a language. And yeah, just all praise 45 King, one of the best to do it. And I didn't really mention this before, but 45 King is a real sort of proper representation of the nastiness of hip-hop and its methods. But, you know, he did the track Stan for Eminem, which is a brilliant song. And he didn't, like, he heard the original track, was it by Dido? Yeah, so forget about her, but check about how he did this. He liked the track, but he didn't have any access to it, and it was used as a theme tune on an American TV show. So he copied it to VHS and then took the VHS out the back of the tape machine into his sampler and made Stan like that. Now that's hip hop, okay? Taking stuff from anywhere and making something new. Okay, so going out with Eddie Kendricks and everyone again. Let's go.
Got to get the good loving. Shame. Can't nothing hold me back. Trucking. Right on.
Okay.
Can't nothing hold me back.
Someone's just asked to solo Eddie Kendrick's vocal, so should we just listen to it on its own anyway? I know we're rolling along there, but man, come on, he's right. He's right. Eddie Kendricks is the man. Okay, let me just do this for you. Okay.
Got to get to your good loving. Shame.
Shame on me and 45 King for sampling.
Trucking. Can't nothing hold me back. Trucking. Right on, right on. Trucking. Can't nothing hold me back. Trucking. Right on, right on.
And I'm out. All right, thanks for watching. There'll be another one next week. Really loving how everyone's responding to these, so I'll keep doing them as long as you watch them, all right? Lots of love from Mark. Peace, I'm out.